We fell to a pickaxe, and will apparently receive Krail's favour, which is nice considering I blew up the world. Gotta stand here and collect 10 buckets of water. There we go, we have a captured cow. So you equip your captured animal in your monster prism, and you throw it into the generator. I will be back tomorrow on one of my other worlds. Welcome back to Craftopia. Now, I did say that we'd be looking a bit different today. So if you're wondering why everything's different to how it was on yesterday's video, we're in a different world. In fact, we're with a different character. This is Elle, who is different because I needed her to be different. Yeah. And welcome to my humble abode. So the main point of this was to show you how things are different technologically and the sort of ways you can adapt the automation to work for you. We're going to start here with my wheat farm. Now, you saw my wheat farm in yesterday's video. It was just 5 patches of wheat next to each other that you had to water manually, you had to reap manually. So let's come and show you this. So here we have the sprinkler, which waters every patch around it. That's nice. That little nub in there is one of the reaping tools. It pops up every so often and cuts whatever's on the plot. That yellow thing is an absorber, so it does that. It sucks in whatever's in front of it into the chest. The red thing is a dropper, which throws it out and throws it onto this. This is a conveyor belt. It does the same over here. Now, from there, it goes into this machine here, which is the auto cooker. And it is set up to be wheat flour. And that saves me the job of having to collect it, put it into a cooking pot myself. It comes out as wheat flour and then gets collected in this container over here. And then I can use it for cooking, or I can use it to turn it into bioethanol, which is one of the key components of a lot of the automated things. We have 3 wells that have also got the droppers on, and that goes into this auto cooker and then turns it into the filtered water, which can be used to make clay. Clay is one of the more advanced building things. It helps you build bricks and stuff like that. It's nice to have. Slight problem in the game in a minute, where if you move too far away from a block, it will stop existing. So these here blocks are monoliths, and they keep the area loaded. So if I'd have left this chunk and gone like to the other side of the island, this would probably have stopped existing, and so these machines wouldn't have worked. Because I've placed this here, and I've got another one around here, these will keep on working when I'm not in the area. They don't work when I'm not on the same island, but when I'm mooching around here, they make a big difference to my production. So my crops work in the exact same way as the wheat does, but you have to plant separate things in them yourself. What have I got here to plant? I've got 2 green beans. So, put one in there and put one in there. They'll now grow because they've been watered. When they've grown, they'll be reaped, and then the absorbers will collect them, pop them out here, and then they'll follow this conveyor belt all the way down to be collected in this box. It makes it sound simple, and to be honest, it is. You just need to have collected the stuff to make it, and that's probably the hardest part. So, this is the breeding machine. Hello, my dears. Yes, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen to you. When 2 of the cows move over and step on here, they get cloned. And they get cloned until they don't exist anymore. Again, it's another unfortunate part of this game, but they stand on here and then they get cloned. And all of these cows are neutral to you or are liked by you, which means you don't have to attack them to get them into one of the monster prisms. So we've got the crab pot I mentioned that was working. What's we collected now? We've collected rusty, empty cans. Not the most useful thing I've ever found. Other things that I mentioned. This is the fillet machine. Got no fish to fillet at the minute, but you chop fish that you catch up and you put them on there. Seed extractor I mentioned. Well, you put the green beans into the seed extractor. Let's say I want to put half of them in, and then it will extract the seeds from them. The breed improvement plant, put the seeds into here. I've got 60% chance of getting bean seeds back or there's a possibility of getting corn seeds or apple seeds. This is the aging facility. I've just taken cheese from there. You put milk in it and you can get cheese or butter out of it. But it's also useful for making other things. For example, saltpeter is made to use gunpowder and explosives. You can turn corn into oil. You can turn rice into vinegar. But that's possibly the most important one, is turning the flour into bioethanol. This is the capture machine. I mentioned the gacha prisons. They're the gacha coins. I think you can find them by other means, but the main way I've found of getting them is by building stuff. So you throw them in, and it spits a gacha capsule back at you. And then what you do is, you find where they are, there. You equip them, and then you throw them out, and it gives you loot. A one-handed sword that does 250 damage. That's my best weapon by a mile. And that's just sort of what this does. That's how I got that. I shouldn't have that yet. I've gone nowhere near far enough to have that yet. But I've got it because I got it out of the gacha capsule. I'm going to show you how the excavators work. Because I didn't show you the other one, actually. There's one near the wells that collects sand, but this one's possibly more impressive. So I discovered on my traversals that there was a few different of them rocky bed things that I mentioned yesterday in this area. Now I want to set one up to collect some of this stone as well, but stone's quite easy to get. So there's one here that collects copper. Now I've got this monolith again. Like I said earlier, the monoliths only work when you're on the island. So under here there is a conveyor belt that's hidden behind the sand for some reason. And then it goes all the way up here. And I've sort of made a bridge out of conveyor belts going this way. Because over here is also an iron one. Now this is a 3x3 monolith, which is why it's bigger. And it covers a 9 square as opposed to just a 1. Got a furnace in case I need it. And this here is a big bad. It's a stone golem. And it drops some ore. Bit of silver, a bit of stone, and quite a bit of iron ore. Which is nice. And he respawns every time I come here. In fact, sometimes I haven't even left the area and he respawns. It's lovely. Now if we check my container where everything collects, there we go, this is just, while I'm here, it's just constantly collecting copper and iron. Which is really nice. Now I could go and scout this island. There are patches all over the place with resources. There's a silver bed somewhere, isn't there? We saw that. But honestly, that would just be boring and it would just be showing you mining again. And I think we've covered that. And while I enjoy it, I don't think it makes for the best video. So instead, we're going to go back and I'm going to show you the one bit of automation I haven't shown you yet. So this is my battery making plant. So the generator makes the batteries. It goes through the dropper into the absorber and into the chest. We don't talk about how we make the batteries. We have a load of stone furnaces that you might recognise. They're all making different things. They all would be making different things if there was anything in the chest feeding them. So for example, this one would make copper. This one would make silver. This makes glass if I put sand in the box. This makes iron. And so on and so forth. This one makes ceramics. So it has to go to a workbench to make the clay. So I'll put sand and water in here. Then it goes into there. And the clay gets added to logs and becomes ceramic. Which is also using some of the more advanced things. I'll just give you a quick example. I'll put the copper into here. It's set up automatically. To make copper. And then that goes down this system. Bounces around the conveyor belts. And goes into this container down here. Where it's collected like all the other stuff is. You can see I've got some glass I made earlier and I've got that copper ingot. And they'll just keep on going. And this is one way of doing it, but there's also another way of doing it which is a bit more involved really. But I'm going to set it up to show you. And it's going to take a bit of time to set up. So I'm going to try and record it while I go. But if it doesn't work like that, then you might have to come back to me. So these here machines are sorters. As you might be able to tell, they sort things. What they do is they allow one thing to go this way. Everything else gets rejected that way. What that means is that you can filter stuff out. So if you wanted to collect, say, I don't know, if the crops are all in the same place over here, and I wanted to have the wheat go to one container and all the crops go to another, I could set it up so that the sorter would allow the wheat through, but not allow the crops through. Now, what possible context could I need to have a sorter? Well, as I mentioned, the crops, but also some of the more labour-intensive things. For example, that took a lot of setting up there. And while it's probably less intensive on resources to do it that way, it's also a lot easier to do the following. May I introduce you to the automatic furnace? So, here's the sorting machine. I've not yet told you what to filter, but what it allows through will now go in to the automatic furnace. You control the automatic furnace like you do with the auto cooker, so you tell it what to make. Isn't that nice? And then what it makes will then get collected in a container. So I'm going to tell it to make iron ingots. So that needs to allow through iron ore. You do that by pressing this button on this side in the sorting machine and dropping one piece of whatever you need to let through. You can tell it what to do. It'll allow only, or exclude only, or it'll allow everything, or reject everything. So we're going to tell it to allow only iron ore. And how we're going to feed it iron ore? We're going to attach this dropper to this chest. And we're going to put iron ore into it. There you go, it's fired out the iron ore. That is allowed through there. Goes into here. Makes the iron ingot, which then gets fed into the container. Now you might be asking, what's the point of that when you've got them things upstairs? Surely you can just walk through them all. Well, yes and no, because it is quite easy to do, obviously. Like, you can just walk between the different chests and put them all in. But making everything is very labour intensive and resource intensive. So why wouldn't we just set up some more of these? I've got 3 more sorting machines on me. So if we build that there, that's then going to send whatever we allow through it that way, and then whenever we reject, this way. Let's say we want to allow silver through here, so we'll take this bit of silver ore, stick it in there. Now I'm not going to put anything that it will allow through there in a minute, because it's just going to spit it into the sea. But this is a good way of showing how they all work. So let's put these 3 bits of gold ore in. Now it's going to spit the gold ore out, and it's going to get rejected from that one, and then rejected from this one, and it's going to get pushed out to here. There you go, it's rejected them and sent them back to me. And how we can make this work is, we could set up another conveyor belt to go along there, make another auto furnace. Let's do that. So there you go, so now that comes out of there, will be accepted and go through here, and we can set it to make silver ingots. So let's whack this full of iron and silver, and now it's going to spit iron out, and it's going to spit silver out. So the iron has gone that way, is making the iron ingot. I think it works through in order of the piles. Let's split them into, say, that. Into 3, 3, and 3. Then take the smallest pile of iron, and we'll slowly watch it go through. So the silver is going through there, and is going into there. It's being made into a silver ingot, and is being collected in that one. And we could do the same for all of them, and I'm going to in my downtime, because this is my fun game. This is my I wake up in the middle of the night and want to play something that I enjoy game. This is just, I just find it so enchanting. I will say, as much as fun as this was to set up, to get the stuff to make the chests, then to make these craft constructors which you have to send the furnaces into, to make the droppers, to just have to make one dropper, a big chest, it's just so much easier. The other things you need are fairly basic resources like stone and logs, and once you've got a few ingots, you can make many. I think there's only really one more thing to show you from what I've learnt so far, because I've not actually made too much more progress beyond what you've already seen. But there is an aspect of the game I haven't shown you yet. Remember how we've been collecting these slate of growths? Well, we need to go and meet the person you hand them into. Lives up there. On my island, you've got to climb a really long staircase to go and see him. And I mean really long, like it affects the draw distance long. Hello, Anubis. I am Anubis, faithful minion of Krail the god. What do you wish for? Then you use the slate of growth to increase your stats. You've got a 30 upgrade limit and it takes 4 tabs to increase your things. So this time I think I'm going to increase my stamina because stamina is always good. Can I capture Anubis now? Usually it says he's too hard to beat. I've captured an Anubis. There's a new one. Hiya. I'm alright, thanks. Now, you can build something with captured Anubises, but I can't remember what, and I think it can wait for today. So essentially, you've seen what I've seen of Craftopia. There's different resources to collect in places, like I've not touched platinum in either today's or yesterday's saves. That can just make more durable gear. You can make fancier things with it. I've not shown you the guns yet. You can craft guns. They're a bit rudimentary, but they're smart. You can get better armor and so on and so forth. Yeah, I adore this game and I can't wait for them to bring some more to it. And it certainly won't be the last you see of Craftopia on the channel, because when they add new stuff to it, I'll do update videos. And hopefully, when it's finished, it really becomes something, because I'd love to play this multiplayer with people. So I hope you've enjoyed Craftopia. I hope you've been able to see why I've fallen for it. And I'm really, really, really excited about the future of it. So ladies, gentlemen, and those in betwixt, my name is Elementary, and this has been the delightful Craftopia. I'll see you next time. Take care.